And welcome to another edition of Thoughts the Roundtable with me, Matt Rebar.
And me, Paul Laux.
And what's happening in your neck of the woods?
Oh, not too much. Just the middle of this heat wave. That's been pretty much it. Trying to, you know what I love about the Midwest is there's always that joke that you can go from, winter to spring to fall to summer all in 1 week. I think we did that in like one day.
Yeah, it is not a joke. I'll tell you that right now. It is very hot. And I don't have AC. I just have a window fan that is not doing it. So I think I'm going to actually buckle and get some AC.
Oh, wait, some window units or like a full on?
Yeah, like a window, like an official, like.
I thought you meant full on, a central air, not a full on central air, right?
No, I just have like my heat, but it'll be like my friend's giving me her old one, and for a really good discount.
Don't have any sort of AC at the moment right now at all.
No, just this window fan. I thought it would be enough, and it is not enough. Let me tell you.
How have you survived?
Dying
Man,
over here.
You got to be melting.
I know. As I get older, I'm quickly learning that like I have no more patience with extreme cold or extreme heat.
How do you do the sleeping with the windows open, or are you not that kind of guy?
I should try it. I have a fan on in my room, so maybe I should try it.
Is your bedroom first floor?
Yeah.
Does that freak you out at all?
No.
See, I'm the same way. Like my bedroom's on the first floor, and I would sleep with windows open. But everyone in my house is we're gonna get burgled.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you can make anything, right? So it's like you could be like, oh well, because I live on the second floor, if there's a fire, I can't escape. Or like if I live X, like I think anything becomes a problem is if you think about it too much, and you just gotta like not think about it too much. So
I got bad news though.
Oh, what's the bad news?
I am not the Vax-A-Million winner for this week, unfortunately.
Oh no, neither am I then. Shoot,
I didn't get a call today.
This is our only real good chance because like it's a pretty slim picking. It's like what 1 in 4 or 5 million. So
I thought it was like 3.4.
It's up. I definitely know it's up, but
what is there? 2 weeks? There's 2 weeks left, right?
Yeah, we got 2 more chances. Fingers crossed.
For anyone who doesn't know, who is like apparently I was doing this thing where they're giving away $1 million per week for people who are vaccinated. But do you see what they're doing in Kentucky? Giving away Kentucky?
No, what?
Guns.
Shut up. They are not.
Swear to God. Yep.
How is that legal?
I think it's Kentucky or one of the other southern states around there. But yeah, they're giving away guns.
Oh my God.
Hey, that surprises you? That honestly surprises you?
A little bit, because I didn't know the government could like give away guns. This feels like very like similar of like, can the government give away liquor? Can the government give away cigarettes?
Honestly, I thought about it too. Like, how can they just legally give that away? But also, well, Texas now you don't even have to have a permit or training. You can just straight up carry anything you want at any time.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But Texas
so that's going.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get too political because I feel like there was like 4 months where every episode we had was political.
I gotta wait to avoid that though. Do you notice the shirt I'm wearing?
Cactus.
Yeah, but it's a V-neck. It's the first time I've ever wore a V-neck in my life, and it reminds me of infamous Boobgate. The first time I put it on, it reminded me of infamous Boobgate.
For those who don't know, I wore a tank to work one time, and my boss was basically like...
Can we all say this was not a tank top? This was I've never seen a tank top that goes down to your belly button.
It was not to my belly button. It was definitely a big cut. I think it definitely was past my boobs, but like... I don't know. I just am like, we work in an industry that's not like, it's weirdly like can be dressy, but then very undressy. So like, I don't know. To me, it's like, it's summer, it's hot, it's whatever. Like, I'm just gonna wear a tank. So
the best part is I don't think it would have mattered if like the executives walk in and here's Matt with just his chest hair hanging out, and then like it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, they say dress for the job you want, and honestly, I want to be doing something with more money, which is probably why I have my chest out like that to be like.
I think that was one of my favorite moments. My second favorite was when one of our coworkers, we were hiding her cat in the studio because the executives came in. You remember that?
Wait, what?
You don't remember that?
Wait, give me a refresher.
It was Jen, but her cat had to go to the vet right away after work, and so she brought her cat. And we were all playing with it, whatever. And I think a couple of like the upper people from the companies like showed up, and we were terrified that they're going to get pissed that we had this cat just roaming around the studio. So we hid it behind my monitor when they came into this back studio. Like literally hid it behind my monitor.
That's insane. I don't think I knew that story.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one when I literally had to hide a cat behind a computer.
I gotta tell you, I can be sometimes a little bit of a butthole at work, but I've never brought in an animal off the street. So
for some reason, I've had a couple jobs where people just brought their animals, like most commonly radio jobs, where they would just bring their pets to the studio and just have their pets just sitting there under the computer.
I mean, I guess that makes sense if you ask, but I feel like sometimes people don't ask about things like that. They just kind of like roll with it and see if they can get away with it. But
I've realized that being a weekend part-timer is like the Wild West. Anything goes. It really does.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
Nobody's in the studio besides you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're running everything. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
I mean, the thing with my job, like people, you know how people have like their desk and they're like, here's pictures of my children and here's my succulent and here's, a souvenir I got from Mexico and here's, my coffee. I'm like, 5 other people use my desk every day. So it's not like my desk.
Do you even have one?
It's like a communal desk, if you ask me. But then 2, like, what if I get like canned? I don't want to do that awkward thing where I have to go clean out my desk. Like, nah, I want to be able to, like, clean up my desk every day so that, like, God forbid, they're like, don't come back. I don't have to awkwardly be holding the box with everything being like, sorry, guys, thanks for having me. And,
have you ever left a job where HR has to walk you out?
No.
You've never had a job like that? Only one time. I quit. Like, it was like a mutual, like, I didn't get fired or canned or anything. I just left. I resigned or whatever. But they still had to have, like, HR walk me out. It was, like, the most uncomfortable thing ever. I'm like, what do you think? Why is this happening?
Well, it's probably for legal corporate reasons, but, I mean...
It was, and you could tell he was just as uncomfortable because, like, he knew, like, I was just leaving.
Can I share...
I got to do this to you. I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, shake hands? You want a hug? Or what is this?
2 things. One is... because very similar to that, but I'll do the personal one first. My favorite was when I was at this restaurant serving, and I wanted to be a bartender, and they were like, yeah, we'll make you a bartender, and they weren't doing it. So finally I was like, screw this. It was like a side job. I didn't need it. So I wrote a 2 weeks letter, and it was like...
First of all, what restaurant doesn't want people to become bartenders? Don't they always need bartenders?
I mean, it was more of like, I don't know. I think it was just sloppy management miscommunication. Anywho, so I wrote my 2 weeks, and it was like, Dear Diary... I'm putting my 2 weeks in, Matt.
Wait, you wrote it like that?
Yeah, I wrote it like that.
And you turned that in?
Yeah. It's not like it's a job that I put on my resume. It's not like I'm like, oh, I was a server here for
What did they say when...
They were just like, that's kind of funny. I was like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And then the good news was they were like, you know what? Why don't we just take up the schedule completely? So like today can be our last day. I was like, heck yeah. Because like I don't want to leave on bad terms. I'll put in my 2 weeks. But
isn't that kind of like saying like, good, get the F out of here when they do that? When they're like, we're just going to drop you now.
I mean... It's a restaurant industry. It's a side job. I was actually grateful. I really didn't want to work there. So like it would have kind of sucked if they were like, okay, well you can work the next 2 weeks and can you take some more shifts? I would have been like, no, I can't do that. But to go off of what you said, we have a friend who has a story about leaving with the person who has to like HR has to walk with them. A very iconic story of like basically saying you can kiss my ass like at the door. When she was being escorted out. And
let me hear this.
Oh, it was literally just that. It was just like, on the way out, it was like, you guys suck. Like, you guys, I'm the bee's knees, whatever. But, like, kiss my ass, walks out the door after quitting or whatever.
I have never seen anybody... Like, I've never seen an aggressive firing in my life. Like, in any of my jobs. I think the closest I ever came to that was when I worked at a grocery store. And they canned some guy when he showed up clearly high. That was one where, but that one wasn't even like crazy. They just told him like, yo, you gotta just leave. And then he did. He just left. One of the more embarrassing ones is when the same grocery store, we had an overnight guy working in produce. And when we came in the morning, he was asleep in a watermelon bin. Like just asleep in a bin.
Wow. Literally and so we woke dead beating it.
We woke him up and we're like, did you just sleep the whole night? And then he did. Funny thing is he didn't get fired from that, believe it or not.
Really?
Nope. So speaking of, I have some funny news for you. I was scoping around.
Please.
And have you ever been late to a job interview at all for any reason?
Like, I'm not trying to be a goody two-shoes, but I don't think I have, because I when
I
it's
don't
really
think I have
important,
either.
I get very weird, so I try and leave extra early. Like I'll show up like 20 minutes early, which is and then sit in the parking lot for like 10 minutes.
I usually am like super early to things like that, and I've never actually been late. But I was reading this story of this lady who was late to her job interview because her neighbor's cows attacked her fence and broke her fence, and she couldn't get her car out. And so she literally tells people, "I got attacked by cows and could not leave my house."
Can you imagine being the HR person that gets that call and you're like, I can't tell if they're like BSing me or like, is this real? I feel like that's just so weird.
I mean, I guess it depends on the area. Like, if it's some really rural back roads town,
Yeah.
then I could be like, yeah, and understand that. But if it was like, Chicago, maybe not. Also, this is just listen to this headline, okay? And this basically just covers over everything. Comedian dressed as Superman hit by bus while pretending to stop it.
Oh, he just deserves what he got coming to him. Okay, I hope you don't mind. I had to turn on my fan. Please tell me you don't hear it obnoxiously. It's so hot in here. I am dying.
Is your brain fried? Like, I just feel you're just like your vibes are off right now.
I gotta tell you, I am exhausted. Like, and this week is not gonna help, and the following week's not gonna help. Like, June is just gonna kick my butt, and fingers crossed July is easier. Like, that's kind of like the mantra that I'm going with, because I know come mid-August it's gonna be pretty rough again. So I'm just trying to like, and I think the heat, this house, I thought I could do it without AC, man. I'm telling you, I thought I could, but the last few days,
Well,
I
you
think,
have to realize, like, even if it's 80, let's say 81, 82 degrees inside, is your house brick?
yes, partially.
If your house is partially, your house is probably over 90 degrees in there right now. There's no doubt in my mind. You're basically in a big pizza oven.
Ooh,
I mean, essentially.
break me off a pizza. That pizza.
I mean, how do you sleep at night? Like, is it sticky and gross? And
I have to take a rinse. I like rinse, and then it takes me a bit. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I need an
What do you mean
AC
you take a rinse?
Like, I just jump in the shower for like a minute or two.
How expensive is an AC unit right now? Because I don't.
Well, my friend is selling me hers for $100, and it's like the one that's
a
like
deal.
really, yeah. Well, it's a really good one. Like, she's like, she's like, my house is pretty small. She's like, it'll probably power through the whole house. I was like, sweet.
No, those there's some that are just crazy. And when I lived in an apartment, they had one right above. They didn't have central air. They just had those window units. They had one right above. We had one like right above our bed. I would crank that thing down to like 40 degrees. I'd wake up and it was like an ice chest in there. It was great. It was fantastic.
God, I know I need that. Like I said, I'm getting older, and like my patience for like a lot of snow is going out the window. My patience for heat. Like, I was in college, no AC, and I survived.
Everyone did that, yeah.
And like when I was moved in my parents before I bought my house, like they don't have AC, and I survived. So I don't know why at this point in life it suddenly is just an issue for me.
You're going to become that old man who sits on his front yard who just yells at kids for like standing there.
Dude, I wish I had the time. I don't have the time.
In college, my first dorm, we had AC, like an AC unit in every room, and ours broke, but it was broke on, so it was constantly on. And so, man, it was like, it felt like it was below freezing in there at times. It was,
oh my God.
yeah, because you have to realize when you're in the dorms and stuff, you're in the winter, fall, winterish, springish, so it's never really like that hot. Mm-hmm. And so it was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Looking back, man, those college dorms, it was literally like the cinder block walls, the tile floor, and everything.
they were like jails, but like,
yeah, it was like it's kind of jail-esque.
Instead of like being there for free, we had to pay like $10K to be in the jail. It has that
like jail feng shui going on, But and when you go visit, in high school to these, you're like, it looks like the best thing ever in your life. And even when you're living there, you think this is fantastic. And I mean, do you ever miss those college days? I feel like I do. I
don't.
Really do.
No, I don't. I wouldn't say I miss college. I will say sometimes I wonder like what it would have been like had I gone to a different college. Does that make sense?
I wonder what it would be like. Not necessarily college, but I wonder what it would be like if I did a different major. Like, well, there's if I would have gone to my second school, I would be a music teacher right now instead of doing all this. So I think about that sometimes. Like, what would that have been like? But because you went to a fairly small school,
yeah,
is that something you would have?
Oh, my good friend Brendan, he went to OSU, and when he was a senior at OSU, I'd come down post-college, and I'm like, oh man, like the OSU is it's in the heart of Columbus, and like it's just such a different vibe, man. And I just wonder, I have no regrets. I think, I try not to live with regrets because like you can't change the past, right? You can only change the future. But like I do wonder, like, what would it have been like instead of having 4,000 students to be like one of 60,000? What would it have been like to have been like at a college that's like very close to like downtown Columbus, and it would have been a new city? So like I don't know. I think it's tough because like most people make the college decision. They're 17, 18, 19, and like what you want at 17, 18, 19. Probably is not going to line up with what you want when you're 25, when you're 30.
I would have done something totally different probably if I were to make that decision now.
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
Totally different.
I gotta be honest with you. I think it doesn't matter what school. I think I still would have ended up being a degenerate communications major. Like I think I was always like entranced with media and production.
Get such a bad rap for being comm majors. We really do.
I was on. So my new thing has been Reddit. I've really enjoyed my journey on Reddit. And
that's a dangerous field.
I know. And my favorite is the Am I the Asshole, which I'd love to do an Am I the Asshole special on here where you, me, and maybe two others, we like read through posts and like talk about them.
Why don't we get that ready for next time?
Maybe. I'll try and look for some people. Anywho, there is this one post. She's like, my sister is $140K in college debt for a communications degree.
How do you even do that?
I'm like, dude. Like,
I think it's a doctor or something.
No, $140K in the hole, college debt for a communications degree. And I'm like, listen, I love me some communications, but if you told me, Matt, you gotta go to college, it's gonna be $140K in college debt, and then you're gonna be communications where
I don't think anybody would do it.
I'm like, that's just not smart. Like, you could have got that communications degree.
Well, first of all, what school are they going to, and how many years have they been there?
I don't know. It's definitely not a community college, because I'm telling you, like, if I, like, part of the reason I went to John Carroll was because I got a great scholarship. I only had to pay, like, $5K, $6K a year.
That's not bad.
And most of my student loans come from those first 2 years room and board. Like, which I'm like, I can't, if anything, that's my regret. I cannot believe I shelled out like 25, 22, 30K to spend 2 years.
When I went, it was mandatory.
And it was mandatory, but I should have just been like, nah, man, I'm not gonna. Like, I paid 2 years.
It's amazing how they can. Isn't school weird? It's like you pay to go to the school. It's like it's mandatory you live here. Like they're making you live.
Well, I could have commuted.
School.
You could have commuted, but like you can't like live off campus technically. Like you had to either commute or you had to be. Well, yeah, but there was like at least at JCU there was like and I was like, that's kind of BS. But anyway, I'm just saying if I had known all my debt would have acquired like from that and that experience, I would have commuted, dude. I don't know. I'm like, I cannot believe.
Yeah, but at the same time, everyone's got to have that dorm experience. It's some good stuff.
Yeah, but like, it's not worth that, dude. I lived in a prison. The cafeteria food was like, wah, wah. And it's just like.
Oh, God. College cafeteria food. Man, that. Woo. Like, striking a nerve.
I should be being paid to have that experience, if you ask me, because that experience.
How I didn't have a heart attack with the crap they served us is. Unfathomable.
Oh, I know. There were some questionable days. And like, I hated the one. So the vegetarian corner was always like, wah, wah.
The vegetarian corner?
Yeah, they had a vegetarian corner. And then they had like.
I love how they just jam them in a corner.
Yeah.
Oh, you vegetarians, go over there.
And then they had like diverse options, but then those were always bad. I do remember though, they used to do like, they had sometimes would have a smoothie station. And people would line up and grab like 6 of the like mini smoothie cups at a time. It was crazy.
It's just so weird thinking about it. It's just like going to camp, so let's see what's on the slop trays today. That's what
seriously, it was camp. Anywho.
Though my card, you get your money put like your meal card or whatever where I went, and we could use it at the local grocery store. And I had like $300 some left one semester, so I bought a whole bunch of steaks and ribs and stuff.
Jesus,
it's the best. Hey, I'm paying for it. Why not?
Yeah, it's your money. That's true. Anywho, I need to go take a shower. I'm so freaking hot. So this has been a great and weird edition of Thoughts of the Round Table, as always. But, Paul, it's great seeing you.
You as well, and we'll see you later. Cool down a little bit, okay?
I'm just gonna like jump in the shower, like
Don't fry too many brain cells.
right. Too late. They're already fried. All right. Well, peace out, Cub Scout.
Later.